what's going on? Charles with Access Muscle Activation here in the dojo. I thought it'd be fun for this newsletter to shoot a quick video to get some of my points across that I've kind of been delivering a lot with clients lately, which is just tips around exercise and workout regimens. I know a lot of people are looking forward to summer activities and they're starting to think more deeply on getting healthy and doing things to benefit themselves for the long term, not just for their summer activities. To that end, I've shared a lot of these tips, so I thought I'd rattle them off real fast in this video. And if you have more questions, I'll make sure that there's some links in the video, a description, so you guys can follow up and do your own research. First and foremost, for most people, working out in the gym, doing resistance training exercise can be intimidating. So these tips are meant to help you maybe get started with the regimen, or if you're already somebody that kind of goes to the gym regularly, give you some maybe more advice or some hard backing for things you already do. And then an addendum to that, I will say, if you're not somebody that works out in the gym regularly, if you're thinking about doing it, definitely, start out maybe asking the right questions. If you have deep questions for strength training individuals like personal trainers or myself, so that we can make sure we're covering all the bases that you have on your goals and your questions. All right, so all that said, let's just run through some quick tips. First and foremost, for a lot of people that are starting exercise regimens, they're asking normally, what's a good rate of return? How often should I go to the gym to get results? Anywhere between 2 and 4 visits is a great frequency every week. So at the end of a month, 8 visits to 12 visits is a really great month. That means you've trained well, you've challenged your muscles adequately, you're probably gonna get results that you wanna get. So keep that in mind, 2 to 4 times. And if you're starting out, you might just think in the first 2 weeks, maybe just go to the gym, use some of the equipment, don't challenge yourself, don't put too much weight on the equipment, don't set your goals too lofty in the first 2 weeks of starting some training regimen. Just get in there, move around, get used to the environment. It's tough to start habits, so start small, start realistic, and then as you enjoy yourself, as you see yourself getting some benefit from it already, think about adding in some more intensity and really picking a harder goal. All right, now tip number 2, if you're gonna go to the gym and you're gonna get results, it's really efficient to have a playlist of exercise, a sort of exercise playlist or a strength training workout that you're following. So you can write that out yourself if you have any background in exercise, or you can follow a plan off some magazine or the internet. Just make sure you have a playlist of things you want to do. It'll get you into the gym and out of the gym, and most of us are going to the gym basically to get our workout in. We don't want to spend all day there. So ideally, if you're trying to get in under an hour of exercise, you should know what you want to do ahead of time. So make a playlist if you can, or follow some sort of workout set list that maybe somebody's given you or that you're following. All right, number 3. If you don't want to delay most of your time in the gym, if you want to get in and get out, and you're making your own playlist of things, you want to keep your exercise selection somewhere between 5 and maybe 8 exercises. That'll allow you to probably get through each workout, each exercise, in a right amount of time so that you're done in an hour. If you have something above 8 exercises in a workout, it's a lot. It might mean you're there longer. It might mean certain pieces of equipment may not be available to your use. So keep it smaller on the ratio of exercises that you do workout to workout. That'll allow you some variety too. So if you're going in doing 5 exercises for your A workout once a week, on your B workout later that week, you can do 5 other exercises. And then you get that variety. You're never doing the same thing. And that might be enticing for you to keep you coming back. All right, tip number 4. You want to start your workout regimen with compound lifts. For most general people going to the gym that might not know what compound lifts are, they're movements like a push-up or a squat or a deadlift, things where multiple muscles and multiple joints are moving during the activity. So I'll get my arms up here so you can see me. If I've got my body loaded for a bench press, I've got my elbows back. As I extend, my elbows extend, my shoulders adduct, and I get my arms in front of me. So the shoulders and the elbows are moving, and my body's probably creating force across my abdomen to stabilize while my pecs do a lot of that work, as well as my triceps and my shoulders. So a lot of muscles get involved, multiple joints are moving, I'm getting contractions up and down my spine. Those are compound lifts. Those are really beneficial because it gets a lot of muscles working, but no one muscle gets taxed more than the others. That allows you to get stronger faster, because then you don't have to articulate lots of smaller movements if you don't have the time. But if you do have the time and you're making your list of 5 or 8 exercises, start with those bigger lifts first, okay? So maybe your squats or your deadlifts or your leg presses first, and then move down to something smaller. Say if you're doing a leg day, start with maybe a squat and a leg press, then move to a leg extension exercise, if you know what that is, which works on your quadriceps, and then move maybe to the end at some venture doing calf raises, because that's a smaller muscle and you can put that at the end and it'll fatigue nicely after doing all those other big lifts. And that'll be a great way to get stronger and also not waste too much time doing it. All right, so that's another tip. That's tip number 4. Tip number 5 is get an accountability buddy. I've already mentioned some things. It sounds lofty already. If it's sounding intimidating, get somebody else to go to the gym with you, whether your spouse or your kid or somebody in your neighborhood that already goes to the gym. Jump into their regimen for a while. Let them teach you some things. Having that accountability partner means you'll go more frequently, you'll enjoy it more because you have somebody else to team up with, and you'll get further than you will on your own. Also, you guys could employ a trainer, or you could join a class, be accountable by going to a class once a week. Just try to tell people that you're doing this and see who wants to jump in with you. I'm sure there's more people than you know that want to get healthy and get after things. And accountability partners get you a lot further than you'll get on your own. All right, then number 6, what's the optimal amount of rests and sets and reps? So this is different for everybody's goal. It really depends on a lot of things, but I'm just going to put out a general consensus, like this is probably good for most people. Optimal amount of rest between sets, 90 seconds to 2 minutes. You're doing something really stringent and hard, probably closer to 2 minutes. You're doing something that you're managing and maybe it's only a one joint muscle movement like a bicep curl, then maybe it's 90 seconds. But you want to give yourself adequate rest because it allows your body to replenish the fuel it uses in its muscles to create contractions. So giving yourself rest means you'll get better workouts while you're doing the exercise, okay? The next thing we touched on was like reps. Generally, for maybe an injury reduction standpoint, for an optimal exercise standpoint, for older clients, you want to think about higher reps and more moderate to lightweight. The reason being is the way we get stronger is either with a heavy load or with more time under a moderate load. It's all about time under load. So if you're under that load for a long time and it's moderate, you're gonna get just as strong as somebody that's under that load for a short amount of time and it's a really heavy load. Okay, so you get the benefits either way. It's just you'll probably reduce your chance of injury if you're doing a more moderate weight for a higher rep scheme. And then the question is, what's a high rep scheme? Well, generally, you might want to work out first with a warm-up set, maybe 2 warm-up sets before you get into your working sets. So a warm-up set would be something where your ratio of weight is very low and your ratio of reps is very high. So let's say a light weight for 15 to 25 reps. That would be your warm-up set 1, and then the warm-up set, you move the weight up a little bit and you lower the reps down to 20 or 15 reps for your warm-up set 2, if you're doing 2 warm-up sets. And then your working sets, which can be varied, you can have multiple working sets, but in your working sets, pick a moderate weight and a maybe less lengthy rep ratio. Something where you're maybe doing the weight that you can move around for somewhere between, like, let's say 12 and 15 reps, okay? That's a moderate weight that you're moving around for a moderate amount of reps compared to what you warmed up with. And at the end of that, the question is then how many working sets? You told me I should do a 1 warm-up set or maybe 2 warm-up sets before an exercise, but how many working sets? How many sets where I'm working against that moderate weight that challenges me for those 12 to say 15 reps? Maybe 2, maybe 4. It depends on how many days you want to be in the gym. Depends on how long you want to be in the gym. If you're only going to the gym twice, probably go for more sets, 4 working sets. But if you're going to go to the gym, let's say 3 times a week or 4 times a week, then maybe you're only doing 2 to 3 working sets because you're going to come back and hit some of those muscles again pretty soon. So you don't have to kind of challenge them every single workout to their extreme. So keep that in mind. Maybe you're not going that frequently, maybe do more workout. If you're going with frequency, you don't have to do as much volume. All right, so to cover that again, 2 minutes to 90 seconds rest, probably 1 to 2 warm-up sets per exercise where you're just going through the paces, warming the muscles up, getting them ready for more fatigue later, and using machines, getting used to the machines in those 2 warm-up sets. And then 2 sets to 3 sets if you're coming multiple times a week to the gym, or 4 sets to 5 sets if you're only coming once or twice to the gym, all right? That way you get the same amount of output, even if you're not coming that often. All right, so now we're going on to tip number 7. That was a lot in tip number 6. Tip number 7 is probably quicker. The question might come up between me and my clients often, what's better, machines or free weights? The answer is it totally depends. Machines are great for beginner to advanced, and usually free weights where you're just using dumbbells or kettlebells or barbells, those are great for people that are more intermediate to advanced. I wouldn't put a beginner there if they didn't have supervision, mostly because you have to execute pretty good form and know what you're doing with the weights and the movements when you're using a free weight. When you're on a machine, the machine dictates your range of motion. It dictates what muscles are going to be targeted, and it does a pretty good job of that. There's some ratios and tools you can use to change the machine a little bit per your size and shape, but generally they're set up one way. You don't have to adjust them too many times, and then you just get in there and work out. They have ways to show you how to do that on the machine too, so you don't need to have a lot of background in how you do things with machines. So I really like them for beginners to more intermediate lifters. Sometimes advanced lifters can benefit too if they're not getting the range they need in the free weight based workouts. And then the free weight based stuff is awesome too. Just know what you're doing, and if you don't know what you're doing, employ somebody's help. Get the friend that you know that has a long lifting history to help you, or work with the trainer in the gym. Make sure your form is good, because if it's not, then you might not be getting the benefits of that movement you're trying to do. All right, so we're gonna pause here. There's still some more stuff to cover. I'm gonna come right back. Okay, are you still with me? You're my peeps. Thanks for watching. We've got about 4 more tips to cover. I'm gonna go really fast through them. Thank you so much for following along, and I hope you've enjoyed some of the content. Definitely, if you have questions or you need help, look in the description. I'll make sure I list some things there for you if you need to do more research. All right, tip number 8. The best resource is probably for your information gathering and your needs, outside of the links down below and talking to me directly, is somebody in your gym. Either the really fit guy that you admire and have a good talk with every once in a while, or it's going to be the gym owner, or it's going to be somebody that is a trainer in the gym. Talk to them if you have a really specific question about a piece of machinery or about an exercise you're doing. People that exercise love to help beginners. They love to help people have questions. It's a very inviting community once you get in there. So don't be afraid to ask questions of those that are more experienced of you. Especially don't be afraid to ask questions of the professionals. That's what they get off on. They really enjoy helping people, and you might learn some great tips from them. And if you're going on the internet, be warned. There's a lot of crap out there. There's a lot of people with biases. You're going to get information sometimes that's varied and doesn't have any agreement. There might be people that are citing a study, and then other people are citing the same study but arguing a different point. It's a quagmire. So if you're getting information from the internet, sight unseen from the person, you're just gathering their data off their website, make sure this person has a background in exercise science, whether that's a MS degree, a PhD, or they're just really tenured trainer somewhere. You want to make sure you're getting good information. It's better to get it from a source directly, but if you're going to do that, I understand it's a very easy tool, the internet. Just make sure you think you're getting the best information you can, and maybe go to multiple sites to confirm your information. YouTube is also a great resource. That's tip number 9. YouTube's going to have workouts. It's going to have people giving you advice. There are some great resources on the internet, and on YouTube specifically. There's a lot of crap there too. I'm going to be honest. There's probably more crap than good stuff there. So be forewarned, if you're following along somebody's YouTube channel and they look like a skinny little girl who was just born with great genetics, they probably were. They might not actually have a great background and emphasis in exercise science. They could be leading you in a workout that causes you harm. So vet them too. Go to their main channel page, read their background, make sure they have credentials that allow you to maybe trust them more. A lot of people on the internet just look good and spandex, and that's it, and that's no way to get better at your own health. It could also cause you some injuries because these people don't have your best interest and they can't see you doing the workout. So be forewarned, it's a great resource if you know what you're doing and you've vetted these people. Awesome way to follow along and do workouts at home. So keep that in mind as a resource, but just do some digging. If you're confused, feel free to send me some information. I can let you know if it looks good. All right, tip number 10. This is a secret tip that I want to let you guys know about here in Whatcom County. If you're a person over the age of 65, the senior centers in our county at all the different towns, Blaine, Ferndale, Bellingham, are awesome. The gyms there are well hooked up. There's a great orientation they do there. It's usually $40 to $60. You go there, you spend all day. They teach you how to use all the machines. They tell you how to organize your workouts. They watch you do it. And then after that, any visit you make, it's just $2. $2 a visit. That's the best deal in the whole county at any gym. So I would say jump on that if you're in that age category and go there. It's going to save you money. It's going to save you time because they're probably not going to be a bunch of young persons maybe on all the equipment bothering you, listening to their headphones and being crazy and slamming weights. It's going to be people around your age category doing the same thing. Could be a great way to make connections as well. And then the final thing I will say is tip number 11. Basically, don't mix and match is the emphasis of this. If you decide that you're going to follow some strength training program from a magazine or from a trainer, stick with that. Stick with it for somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks. Follow a plan that you're, following, that you're writing in your information about, like I did this much this week, and so you can track how you're doing. Measurements equal success because you can see where you started and where you ended up. It tells you with confidence you're getting better. These are things that work for you. If you're not measuring your success, then you're getting insignificant data that won't back up what you're doing. So follow a plan, make sure you're tracking your progress, or somebody that you employ and work with is tracking your progress, and they're keeping you, improving, and follow that plan for somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks. After that period of time, take a week off, see how you feel. It might be better to refresh for a week and not do things, and then come back again with maybe a new plan. Your body takes about 4 to 8 weeks to adapt to a stimulus and grow. So if you're trying to get better for hiking or pickleball by going to the gym, you're gonna have to stick with these ratios of working out twice a week to 4 times a week, what have you, for 4 to 6 weeks. You can't really give up. You gotta go the distance, because once you're there, once you're really fit, it's easy to stay there. It's easy to stay fit. So think about it when you add in a workout habit, that you're gonna commit to that. And there's gonna be an end day. And maybe on that end day, you're gonna measure your progress. You're gonna see where you started and you're gonna find out where you end, and you're measuring that success. And it's usually best to measure that success with exercise, not with your weight or not with how you look, because those aren't really relevant. Those aren't scientific data points. The better thing to do is to measure how you're doing in the exercises that you're doing consistently, so you can see the growth. And you'll normally get the physical results if you're going after those. They will happen. It might take longer than you think, but after the end of 5 or 6 weeks, you should see some changes there if that's also your goal. Anyway, those are my 10 tips. Hopefully that was all great. You guys love that. And if you have more questions, we'll chat about it in person maybe. You can definitely check out the links below in the description. Thank you for watching. And the final thing I'll say is, anybody thinking about adding a workout regimen or a habit like that in the gym, it's intimidating. Start small. I mentioned that earlier, but just get into the gym, or build your own little home gym and just try to use it a little bit. 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, do a little bit of light exercise when you go to the gym. Just walk around, make connections, figure out where things are on a few visits. Don't put any pressure on yourself, the first 2 times or 3 times you go there. Then let's get going on trying to build strength and really get after it. Once you've kind of gotten comfortable with the idea of it, all right, then it's appropriate to push yourself. And then set realistic goals. Push yourself, but definitely don't think you're gonna end up being Mr. Olympia or some swimsuit model in 6 weeks. It takes time, and fitness should really be a lifestyle. It should really just be part of your life. All right, thank you again. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed this. Talk to you guys later.